Hello everybody and welcome to Organian's Puzzle Box, and today I have a very special video for you. Basically, a lot of people have been asking me, how do we create planetary clouds? How do we have a planet in Unreal Engine and then have clouds that are above the planet and we can see them? Well, today you're going to find out how to do just that, but unfortunately you will need the ultra dynamic sky, which, let's be honest, at this point I think it's like it should come with the engine. I think everybody pretty much has ultra dynamic sky. So in today's video I'm going to show you what are the settings you need to employ in order to get these clouds to be above a planet's surface and you're able to see it from space. Now, take a look behind me, right? So see that see that over there? That's the sun. That's directional light right there. These clouds are above the planet. so yeah, effectively, you can have that as well. I'm going to show you how. Now, this particular project is using my procedural planet, which you can find on the Unreal Engine Marketplace, ArtStation, Gumroad, Patreon, my own website called 3D Project Masters. You can get this project for to be able to create an infinite amount of planets. This planet has like a ring around it. It's procedural. You can have so many variations. You will definitely not grow bored of creating planets with this particular system. And if you also have ultra dynamic sky, then you can combine the two together and thus create some really epic looking planet side scenes. Like views from space of the planet. I think it's pretty cool. So let's dive straight in because honestly, it's quite simple, but there's quite a few options to cover. So let's begin. I've got my procedural planet opened, and I have added the ultra dynamic sky from my Epic launcher. So this particular planet does come with its own sky atmosphere inside the blueprint. So unfortunately, we are going to have to remove this in order for that to work. So I'm going to edit the blueprint. And inside of here, all I really need to do is just select the sky atmosphere and press delete. And this will remove any atmosphere from the blueprint. So now the planet does not have an atmosphere. But this is fine because we need to do this in order to use the atmosphere from the ultra dynamic sky, like I've said. So now I'm going to go over here and enter the folder and into the blueprints where we have the ultra dynamic sky. Now, one very important thing, I would definitely make sure that the location of your planet is in the center of the world, which is about there. Now, the scale of the planet is also going to play a factor. So for me personally, right now, I would definitely switch this maybe to like, let's just say 10,000, which is obviously a lot smaller than what we had. And this is important because we are trying to get to a position where the atmosphere is going to be, the clouds are not going to disappear. Right now, currently we're using the fake clouds from the procedural planet. So these are noise-driven, displaced sort of clouds, and they do the job just fine. But obviously, ultra dynamic sky has got far more interesting clouds. So what we're going to do now is we are going to add the blueprint for the ultra dynamic sky, and we're also going to add the blueprint for the ultra dynamic weather. Okay, just add those both of those in. Now, it's very important that you pretty much put them both in the location 0, like that. And I would select the dynamic weather and just pretty much say, we've got clear skies. We don't need anything. Now, you can see the atmosphere is massive. Like, it's enveloping the planet right now. It's very large, okay? That's fine. What we're going to do, we're going to select the ultra dynamic sky. And then going down here, you can see the sky atmosphere. Now, important to say that we want a planet top at the center. Planet center at component transform. So you're going to put that, and now basically the center of the atmosphere is going to be the center of the blueprint. Now I'm going to put that to 0 as well. Just make sure that the atmosphere is literally smack down in there. So you've got planet center at component transform. That's fine because the other ones are just going to do like that is going to assume that the your planet is at the top of the transform of the atmosphere, or at absolute world origin. Now you can, if you use that, you can see there's some things that are changing, but this is the one that we need. Okay, now if I fly out, so let me just try and do that. So if I fly out, you can see where the atmosphere is right now, okay? That's where it is. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to sort of like squish this down. So there's various different ways that you can do this. Obviously, with this particular slider and so on, you can do that. So I'm gonna put this to maybe like 1,000, so it's quite, a lot smaller. I'm going to decrease my speed. I'm trying to literally pin myself down to where the planet is again, something like that, and then select the ultra dynamic sky again. And what we've got in here, we've got to set our clouds to cinematic offline. Make sure that they are using the sky atmosphere. Let's start adding some clouds. So we need to get to a position where we can start seeing some of the clouds, and you can see them right now. See, those are the clouds right there. Okay, but they're obviously very big. So and you can see as I get away from them, you can see how I am literally not being able to trace them completely. So the atmosphere is still pretty big, right? So what we want to do now is we want to go into the sky atmosphere again. And if we tone this down, you can see the clouds are also going down, okay? So we want to get into a position where if we're above the planet, so let's try a 300 or something like that. Maybe that's going to be fine. So this is 300, right? Now, if we select the planet, and we can have a look, the planet is quite small. So we need to start increasing its scale. So let's try 10, something like that. Okay. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to eyeball the planet to be as big as the atmosphere, effectively. So something like that might be quite good. Yeah, maybe it's a bit too much, but it doesn't matter, right? Right now, what we also want to do is make sure that the clouds are showing in front of the planet. So we're going to select the ultra dynamic sky. And there is an option in here where it says background only clouds. We're going to switch that to full cinematic. And now you can see the clouds are actually showing above the planet, but it's still too big. Like the whole system is still too big. So we'll have to maybe switch this down to like 100. Yeah, I think 100 is fine. Then we're going to select the procedural planet again, and we obviously need to scale down a little bit. It's too much, right? So let's try an 8 is too much. Whatever you do, you are going to have to eyeball this. It's not. This is not. You're not gonna get. You're not gonna get a incredibly sharp effect. So 6.8 seems to be just enough, right? Now we have too many clouds. It's too thick, right? And we also got the clouds of the planet. So I am going to go down here and just say to the clouds of the planet, intensity of 0, so we don't see them anymore. And then I'm going to select the ultra dynamic sky again. And I'm going to start playing a bit with the clouds. The cloud coverage is just a bit too much. So we're going to switch that to maybe a 1.3, something like that. Okay. And this from this on out is tweaking mode. Like you can notice here we have a problem. So to fix that, we're going to search for fog. And I believe, I can't remember right now where it was, but basically we're trying to get rid of all the fog. So if you do that as a 0, you can see it's still messing with us, right? So I think I need to find in here what the option will be to fix this, to effectively get rid of all the fog in the world that's coming from the ultra dynamic sky, which is basically the height fog, which is being added on top. And now very quickly, I've discovered basically what we need to do. We're going to select the dynamic sky, and then over here where it says height fog, select that, and then go to where it says fog max opacity and just put that to 0. Now, any setting in the ultra dynamic blueprint that you see, it's got this little arrow. It means that the property has been changed. And if you're trying to change it, it will automatically revert to what the default value is. So that's why you need to just put that to 0 there, because that wasn't affected by anything. You just put that to 0 and it's done. Okay, now another thing that we've got here is we obviously got the sunlight coming from that direction. We also have a skybox. And this skybox is obviously a problem because it's effectively adding another layer on top, which you could replace the skybox. I would definitely recommend that you replace it with stars or something like that. But right now we're trying to get rid of it. So you do need to find, I cannot remember for the life of me what was it called, but it is in here somewhere where effectively if you can disable it and just say, right, I don't want to have any sort of skybox in there. I just cannot remember specifically where it was, but it is in here where you got an option to basically say, yeah, I don't want to see that. I want to disable it. So yeah, okay, I think, is it this one? No. So let's just see, maybe. Yeah, there we go. Right, so you could probably load in here a different kind of texture, but there is definitely a skybox option in here somewhere for you to load up whatever skybox you want. I just cannot remember what it was. Right, so now we've disabled that. Now we've got our clouds. There's still, you can see right here, this is the point where you're never going to get rid of this with this particular setup. And obviously, if you get too far away, you won't be able to see the clouds anyway. There is a max trace distance, which I believe in Ultra Dynamic Sky on cinematic quality is already pretty much pushed to the maximum. So I don't think, so this is max trace. So tracing max distance is something that we would need to search for. So let's just have a look. Tracing, start max distance. I think we put that to, sorry, we put that to this number. Yeah, there we go. So now it's visible from much further away. Okay, so you can now see the noise pattern of what Ultra Dynamic Sky is doing, and as you get closer you can see how, you know, where is the cloud and where is your planet's surface, kind of thing. So you could edit this cloud, the planet's surface, obviously, and then just get some different kind of colors and effects in there, because you probably want I mean, obviously it really depends on what you're going for, what kind of a planet you're trying to create. But let's say, I don't know, I mean, obviously there's loads of options in here to play around with, but let's just say, I'm not sure, let's just try something like that. And maybe something like that. We're obviously gonna have to, there's a lot of changes to be done, like depending on what kind of a planet you're going for. You're gonna have to do a lot of different sort of changes in here to ensure that they look the way you want them to look. I obviously go through I've got another video where I sort of like go through this. So I'm probably just gonna have very large craters. Maybe the depths are not gonna be that great as well, something like that. And I think the clouds is just a bit too much coverage still. But obviously we can play around with things like the bottom altitude, the noise scale. So if you want the clouds to be a lot bigger in shape or something like, you know, something like that. As you can see now, we're effectively changing this. It is still, there's still a bit too high, and the atmosphere isn't really matching up with the surface. So what I generally recommend is you start playing around with the settings. So maybe the atmosphere height to a 2. Leave the scattering. Maybe this needs to be a 99 or something like that. Or let's try 98. Nah, I think 99. Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one, because you are going to have to, you know, something like that maybe. You could just increase the height to something like that, you know? Yeah, something like that, as you can see. And then you obviously got all these options to play with, because you will need to add some, you know, like for example, the Rayleigh scale is going to clearly get the planet to meld a lot better. Now there's still some issues, like you can see in there's still too great of a distance between the cloud layer and the planet. So at this point, this is where I recommend you obviously coming in here and having a look at, right, where are the clouds? You know, have we got, look, you can even add some fog. Where are the clouds? You know, what's the sort of the setting between these things? Where do they sit? So this is where the volumetric cloud settings, like the height scale, comes into play. So something like that. Maybe we can just increase the scale of the base clouds, or decrease it. It really depends on what sort of effectively you're going for. I'm just gonna tweak values in here until we, you know, get some other different things. Like, you know what I mean? You can even tweak things like these frequencies, which gives these clouds a lot more detail or a lot less. You know, something like, look at that, it just gives it so much more detail. Obviously, this is not a landable planet, but you can really create a level of play like in Star Citizen. You can see I've increased the extinction by quite a lot there, which you know, gives it a more fluffy look to the point where everything disappears. So this probably as you can imagine, making a planet side photo shoot like this is going to take quite a lot of tweaking. Like I'm not, I'm not exaggerating when I say that you could be spending hours in here. And I believe you can also, yeah, you should be able to switch on 2 layers as well. And now you can see we've added another layer of clouds that just gives it an even better look, right? Now this layer is quite high, and I would have a look at how much we're covering with it, and what's the scale of it, and how much what's the extinction value. Because if you put this to 10, they're very visible as well, and they're very coarse, as you can see. But you can then offset all sorts of things, and you can also say what's the distance between the 2 layers, because I believe you can go to like a minus. Yeah, this won't allow me to go to a minus, but what it would, let me just put that extinction to like a 0.7, or the default value was 0.05. That's too much. So let's try 0.2, right? Something like that. And here's the kicker, right? We can go to the first cloud, and then when we have a look at the bottom altitude, you can decrease that, right, quite a lot, and just really bring it a lot closer to the planet's surface. You can see that it's literally melding with the planet's surface now. I'm not even joking. Like, you could easily make a planet shot right now. Like effectively flying a ship and then landing somewhere in here where you create a patch of a very detailed level. Okay, so as you can see, when we enter the atmosphere, it becomes so realistic. Okay, now what I would suggest is, again, the procedural planet itself, you're gonna have to create rivers and oceans and stuff like that. You can do that for all the settings in the procedural planet. I mean, look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? Okay, and this is done for the ultra dynamic. I mean, I just honestly, I'm amazed that more people are not using this, because it's not that hard to achieve what I'm doing here. And you could even combine this with the CloudForge, the cloud system that I've got, to get even more photorealistic clouds in here. So I'm going to play around some more with the settings, but effectively I think I've shown you now how to use the Unreal, the ultra dynamic sky to create a rounded, like having clouds that are going, pretty much across a planet. Obviously the middle bit here, you're never going to really fix that unless the creator of the ultra dynamic sky changes some things. But overall, I think it's really useful. I would have a look in the material shader for the ultra dynamic sky to start masking this area, maybe, or I'm not really sure exactly. I've not really looked that deep into that particular point, but I really love what can be done so far already with what we've got. Okay, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm actually going to show a final sort of bit that I'm going to finish off by continuously, continuing to tweak the figures until I get something that I'm more, happier with. And then I'll show you guys how that sort of looks like at the end. So that was pretty much it for today's tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something today that you can do in Unreal Engine that you probably, or maybe you didn't know how to. For those of you who did know how to do this or have a better idea or understanding of it, please let us know in the comments below. Please like and comment and subscribe to the video if you'd like to help me out. Please consider purchasing the Procedural Planet or my CloudForge, cloud pack, which is basically localized clouds in your scene. They're not like ultra dynamic sky. They're more photorealistic, but they are meant for cinematic play and manual placement, if that's something that interests you. The links are in the description below anyway. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for my Patreons. Thank you to everybody who supports the platform, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep creating.